Everybody watching this right now is pretty much trying to be like some sort of online business owner. So now that you have the best of both worlds, very successful online as well as a very successful construction company, what are some of the skills that are cross-pollinating that could be valuable for people to understand?
One thing I would say is that most businesses, if you look at them like a math formula, you take out X and you put in Y after you figure out what the product is. Most businesses in a lot of ways are the same. You're gonna have to deal with people, you're gonna have to build systems, you're gonna have to be tough, and you're always gonna have to be working on the business. If I were to go start a new business tomorrow and I didn't know anything about said business, if you understand how a business actually works, if you understand how to actually build a business, then you can be successful in almost anything you do. Of course, you're gonna have to acquire competencies for that business and that skill set to build your systems around it. But also, in a lot of times, if you really know what you're doing, you can hire that talent that knows the product even better than you. One thing I'd say even about my metal building company is that I have guys that are substantially better at metal buildings than I will ever be, but they don't know how to build a business. They know how to build a building. And so understanding that as an entrepreneur, regardless of whether it's online or in a brick and mortar space, is very, very important. If you can get 30,000 feet and look down at a business and understand how the pieces go together to make the engine run, to make the formula work, solve for money, for profit, then I don't think there's many businesses you can't obtain. I think Elon Musk is a great example of that. Do you think Elon knows how to build a spaceship? No, he knows how to build a business. And for that reason, his businesses can build spaceships and cars.
You touched on the point of saying that maybe it's not the best decision for most people. If you have a certain skill set, if you're gonna be a great employee for somebody, you can make just as much as money, if not more, for the guy that's trying to start his own personal brand or run an online business. In terms of you with hiring your employees, I know you have a very stringent kind of hiring process, it sounds like. What do you look for when hiring any sort of employee these days?
So you have to make sure that you understand the personality and the type of person that is going to be in the position. As an entrepreneur or a business owner, your job is really to set people up to be graceful. So for example, everybody kind of knows that engineers kind of have an introverted type person. They're not really good with people. They're good with numbers. They're a bit kind of autistic socially. I would never put that person in a sales position. I take the guy that's outgoing, you set him up, put him in the sales position because he's going to flourish naturally. One thing that people often forget, they think that they're going to plug in roles and responsibilities with experience and a college degree that kid was kind of forced into or he thought his parents would like, but it might not naturally match up with who he is as a person. And for that reason, when he goes out into the world, if his true beingness, his true he is as a person doesn't match up with that position in that company's organizational board, he's likely not to be successful because he's not going to have an energy to fulfill the roles and responsibilities of that role. And so a really good entrepreneur knows this and really evaluates this individual to make sure their natural nature lines up with the position, not just their resume, because the resume is a big lie most of the time. Does the person match to this role? Can they be successful? So we look for intention. We do many, many layers of personality. We do many, many loaded questions to take things out of them. We watch how they act in the interview. I'll have people literally come into an office while I'm doing an interview just to see how they respond to the person walking into the room. Do they curl up? Do they join the conversation? Depending on the position. So there's a million things you can do, but understanding as a business owner, your job is to set somebody up to be graceful. So trying to find that true nature to them and then match that to what that position truly needs is really important. In addition, when you're starting out, the best thing you can do is fire yourself from the roles that you don't match up to.
So when would you look to hire somebody to kind of fire yourself for that position?
When you very first start off, one of the best exercises you can possibly do is build an organizational board to the potential of where you want to go. So build the organizational board 10 years out, like when the company's as big as you think you can possibly get it. Then daily, and as the business goes on, you're going to learn more and more about your business and things you need. So you make a list of all the things that you did that day. Let's say you sent an invoice, then you made a phone call to sell, then you set up some marketing campaigns, and you make this big list. And at the end of the day, you sit down and then you match what the task was with the position in the org board. And then you start to see that company being built out. So that way, when it does come time to hire, you realize what you don't have an energy for, what will give you the best return on investment of capital to grow the business. And then you take that list that turned into an org board and 5 roles and responsibilities for each individual, and then you hand it to a person that matches that personality type. And when I say personality type, I'm talking about an energy for it. I'm not talking about like a Myers-Briggs. The person that has that natural energy for that capacity in that position, you put them in that role. Hiring people are easy. There's no such thing as an expensive employee. You have to do the math on it. If I hired this sales guy and he does these 5 things every day, and I get that measurable given to me every day, and I know that he is performing these tasks, how much revenue does that mean? Good. How much profit? Okay, I paid the guy $100,000 a year, but if he's making 30 calls a day and he brings an extra $1 million, 30% profit, then he made me $200,000 a year when you subtract his $100,000 salary. He's not expensive. So if you can back into that math and really understand the roles and responsibilities of your company and really understand the organizational board and create a report where you you know where these numbers are every day, it's impossible to lose money on a guy unless he flat out doesn't perform, which would ultimately be on you because you picked the wrong guy. And having that accountability is what's going to save you in your business, because hiring employees that don't work out has to be on you, because if it's not, you're giving that power away to other people.
Okay, cool. Another question I wanted to ask you is, what made you really make that full-on commitment to making content? Because you were already doing great with construction, right? Yeah. You were just like, all right, I'm going to take this into my life right now. I'm going to add this on to everything else I got going on. What was the main catalyst and main motivating factor for you to start making content consistently?
Well, the first thing is, like, you have to understand the vehicle you're in. So for construction is a vehicle where you can get very wealthy, and real estate is a vehicle where you can get very wealthy. However, doing content and being online allows you to reach people that align with you all over the world, which makes buying real estate easier, which makes doing construction easier. And then if you do an online model where people can buy from you all over the world, then that business model particularly is one of the most explosive business models that there is. That's why I think guys in the real world do so well. That's why I think guys that have brands do so well, because they can find the people that align with their values, that look at that person like they know, like, and trust them, and then they can buy something from them, oftentimes something they would have probably bought anyway. So for me, the more I do these podcasts, the more the people that are gonna like me for who I am are gonna want to buy something from me, or do something with me, or partner with me, or bring me a deal that I would have gotten along with if I'd have met them in real life. I think that's the most explosive thing you can do in the world right now, is let the world know who you are and find the subset of people that really align with you and want to do things with you.
You mentioned a moment ago, throughout your career and stuff, everybody makes mistakes, and there's always a lesson in mistakes. So throughout all of your years so far, whether it's something online or even something in person, what do you think was the biggest mistake you've had in your career so far, and how did you pivot and adjust from that?
There was a time in my career when I believed that all the men that worked for me in the steel business thought like me and wanted the life that I wanted. I wanted to make them all rich. I would try to set up these programs, whether it was life insurance or all these systems, that I thought that they would fill out all these checklists and we could grow and maybe become corporate one day and be like the Google of metal buildings. But I wasn't taking into consideration that I wasn't speaking not only their language in life, but I wasn't speaking their money language. Sometimes, as much as you want things for people, they don't want what you want in life, and you can't force it. And you're not gonna change anyone ever. I tried to save a lot of people. I tried to change the way a lot of people thought about life and about business and work, but I was putting a square peg in a round hole. Although it was my best of intentions to give to them, they would laugh me out of the room when I brought the insurance guy there to set up a life insurance plan and do certain kind of profit sharing that would give them long-term compounding interest. They were like, give me a $2 raise. For the longest time around money in business systems, I wasn't speaking their money language. And so what I had to learn is that you're not gonna change people. You have to meet them exactly where they are. And in order to do that, in this particular situation, some of those guys I found, they just want me to show up on a job site, put $200 cash in their bag and tell them don't tell their wife, because they wanna get drunk Friday night when they're out of town in Texas. They don't want a life insurance plan. They want the freedom to quit me for 25 cents tomorrow and maybe go work for the next guy. That's just where their soul is. They're journeymen. And for me to try to change that is disingenuous of me, because I'm asking them to change who they are. And so again, it goes back to putting a person in the right position on the organizational board. I had to learn that my job was to set them up to be graceful and let them be who they are fully inside the business. It was hard in the beginning because I was reading books about structure and systems and checklists, doing a lot of work with eMyth. I did eMyth consulting. I had a personal consultant from eMyth for 2 years, and I'm building all these checklists and these systems. And I'm like, we'll never make a mistake on a job again if this guy will just flip check the box. I was asking an iron worker to fill out fucking paperwork, square pegging around hole. Just because I wanted that didn't mean he was gonna do it. And so I had to find systems that would counterbalance that to make it work, which is something we talked about a minute ago. I started hiring women. All my management staff in my construction company are women. The women can fire everybody, particularly one woman that runs the entire company. And I make millions of dollars a year, and this woman is a boss, bro. She will fire every man in my company. If I could give you any advice, especially on the first hire, but if you can find a person that truly has your back, one person, and you truly align, then you both can dance the same song. And once two people are dancing, it's hard for the entire group not to dance to that rhythm, because they know that you and that person cannot be broken. In fact, I would go as far as to say, I would rather take 5 people that we are truly aligned on a vision and a goal and we have each other's back completely than 100 people with 80% intention. My first core value in every one of my companies is intent. And so having those 5 to 10 people that you're really close with and you spend personal time with that are almost family to you. Family has nothing to do with blood. I always say fuck time, fuck blood. But I want to know, honestly, what are our views on life? Does that align? And I can't hire or fire based off that, but I generally know who those people are going to be. And I put most of my coaching into those people because I want those people to get behind me. One thing that's really powerful about social media, and I didn't see it coming, it's not the money. It's the fact that when a man comes to work for me now, or a woman, it's because they believe in me. They align with me. Before that, it was a mercenary. Now, it's somebody that wants to help me lead the charge of what I'm trying to do in this world. And there's a huge difference between the two.
This is how I look at products, man. It's like, I don't have anything to hide. You should always sell stuff because you believe it works, right? And the reason that I support my friends in the real world is because I know it works. I see these guys posting every day. I talk to these guys. I talk to the professors. I talk to Dylan all the time. I talk to Tristan. They're making money, bro. You literally go to college and get thousands of dollars in debt. What, to get a job that you don't want anyway? Because you go on Instagram and some asshole's making, millions chilling on the beach because he has his own agency or a copywriting business or whatever. Like, if they want to attack Andrew, they can, man. But like, bro, it works. And so for me, I feel good about promoting the real world because I literally see people's lives changing. And that makes me feel good, regardless of losing a channel or getting attacked for it or having people hate me because I support my friends. Well, too fucking bad. The real world actually works. If you're interested in joining the real world, go to the website. And if you don't, it's all good, man. Love you anyway. Watch my content. Hopefully there's something I can help with if it's not the real world, but I really do believe it works because I've seen it myself.
It was like a candy store, man. I was a kid in a candy store. I was like, I've never seen this much information in one place.
You get all these wealth creation methods and they give you a viable step-by-step tutorial on how to achieve them.
I have 3 to 4 clients right now, giving me around $2,500 a month.
Explain to me the results that you got. I believe I'm at 60,000 even now.
How much money are you making now?
These past 12 months, I've been able to make like over 500K.